Dan Hartleb is here. Illinois baseball, and this is my favorite time of year when baseball gets going. A week from tomorrow is opening day, and it's kind of weird because it seems like behind the scenes, somewhere indoors, tucked away somewhere, Illinois baseball is doing their off-season thing, and then all of a sudden the season starts, and it's just not a visible thing because of the weather and the climate we're in. But has it been pretty intense for you?
Well, it has been. As you said, we always start indoors, and nobody knows what's going on because there's snow on the ground and it's 20 degrees. But it's been intense few weeks of practice. We don't have a long time to get ready. We started on Martin Luther King Day with some workouts where we had limited time with our players, and then on the 26th of January we were able to start with the entire team as far as longer workouts. And if you look at that amount of time trying to get pitchers ready, trying to get them built up, especially the starters, it's a short window. So it has to be intense. We can't give days away, and so far it's been really good.
I want to talk more about the team and what's coming up here in this season, but your off season, I've noticed, you see around basketball games, see around football. Saw you on TV out in Vegas, watching the team out there. You like to get around.
That didn't sound good.
I noticed there's some collegiate, whatever that word is, friendships, relationships you have with the other coaches. What's that like? I mean, how much you guys get to hang out and talk as coaches at the same school?
It's difficult because we all have different seasons and there's different demands on our times. There's a lot of different things that I've tried to do. I want to be involved in the community, and Gene and I think, have been able to do, a good job of that. We have a lot of friends in the community. I love college athletics, and I do have some very good friends on the coaching staffs, a lot of guys that I really respect. One of the things that I like, though, is I like to go watch other coaches coach. I really like to go to their practices and see what they do and how they handle players, and I like to go when they win. I like to go when they lose.
Underwood's got a treadmill in the corner of Ubben.
I've been there a few times. Not on the treadmill, but I've been to Ubben. I really, really, really respect Brad. He's going to do a tremendous job here. He has to this point. He's tough, and he pushes guys. He expects excellence, and I just like what he does. He's got a great feel. Everything he does is very calculated. We're going to have some toughness as we move forward, and the team has struggled somewhat, and that's probably why he's here, because we weren't good enough to win at a high level. But I think long-term, he's a great hire.
What's the spring like for you, too? Because you've got a son, Zach, who's a senior at Champaign Central and was a key part of the Maroons' run to the state tournament last year. With everything you have going on, too, we got to sneak in some high school games, I'm sure, to watch Zach and his teammates as well.
Yeah, it's really tough. The one thing that when you get into college coaching is that your family is going to take the brunt of it, and you miss a lot of things. And so it is very difficult. The one thing I said, with us being so young as a team last year and not playing up to the level that we'd like to or that we expect to, we were done a little earlier than normal, and I got to see every one of the games in the state tournament and on to the state run. And so, that was something that was special for me. And I'll try to get out there every time I can. There's times when we get done with practice and the guys are doing their conditioning, and I'm running out the gate to try to go catch the last 2 or 3 innings. So I really try to do as many things as I can to see Zach, see Haley, spend time with the family. It gets difficult at times, but they understand, and it's been a great life for us and a great community. So just part of what we do.
Dan Hartleb here from Illinois baseball. Their season opener is a week from tomorrow night, 6 o'clock against Lamar. Let's talk about this team a little bit. Last year, offense was pretty good. Pitching struggled. How do you see this year? I guess you've been asked this. What year is this for you?
28 overall.
28. Okay, so for the 28th time times whatever every year. Hey, Dan, what do you expect this year?
Well, I always expect to win. I really like our talent. I like the individuals that we have on the team. I think we're capable of winning. I think we're capable of winning at a high level. What I need to see is how tough we are, how mentally tough we are. I like the progress we've made in the pitching staff. I think we're going to have very, very good depth. It was actually difficult to pick the top not the top, the 3 starters for this weekend, because we have a couple guys that are capable of being in that mix and will still be in the mix as we move forward, that we told they're going to work out of the bullpen. I feel really good in the closer situation. We have a couple positions that I still need to figure out, third base and first base, but it's not a situation where I'm scrambling around trying to figure out if we have somebody that can play there. It's having a couple of options, and I think they're both good options, and so things will sort themselves out.
The challenge, I would imagine, of a college season, which is somewhere in the range of 50 games, right? But you're not playing every day. It's not like the minor leagues where guys are playing every day, or in the summer either. So it's play a few games and you're off, then play a few games and you're off. And it seems like a weekend can make or break your ability to have the coach put you in the lineup.
Every weekend's so important, both for us as a team and then for the individuals. You can't have a knee-jerk reaction. A lot of the decisions that are made on what you see the entire year. Somebody may have a poor weekend and be able to handle it mentally, and they're right back in the next weekend. Some guys that have had or shown the history or historically, they can't handle those situations when they start going bad, then you may give them a little bit of a break. So it's not always what they do in the game. It's what they do, in their history. So
what's it been like for you the past couple of seasons? You make that historic run in 2015 with such a veteran team that had been together a few years, and then you kind of, not, I want to say rebuild, but you're doing it with younger players after guys either graduated or got drafted and left early. How has that process been like the past few seasons?
It's a rebuild.
Okay. I didn't know. Coaches like to say reload sometimes. So.
Yeah, well, you'd like to reload, but in order to reload in college baseball, I think at times you have to be unethical with pushing a lot of players out of your program that maybe aren't performing at the level you want at that time. And we're about development, and I don't want to push guys out that are working hard and doing the right thing. So, there's times we will rebuild. If you look at the history of the Big Ten, the teams that have gone on those historic runs like we did, they always, because of the draft, because of some of the signing rules, because we've had some ethical coaches in the league, you've seen those teams drop back for a year or two, and then they get back on their feet. And that's kind of where we're at. I think, we've got a chance to step it up this year. The last 2 years, I would say, have been difficult because I don't enjoy not being in the tournament. At the same time, it's been rewarding because we've got a lot of young guys that have worked hard to get better, and it's just a process.
Talking about the offensive side, or I should say the position player side, up the middle, Michael Mass is just a fantastic second baseman. Ben Troike, really good shortstop, and they really showed themselves last year as a duo. And the outfield, you return Jack Yalowitz. You also have Doran Turchin. Wanted to ask you, though, about the transfer Taylor.
Zac Taylor.
Zac Taylor from Houston, right? And so he was out last year. He's in the mix this year. What does he bring?
Well, we've got a number of transfers, and we usually don't bring in a lot of transfers, but one of them is Zac Taylor. Zac, as long as I see the same things over the next week, if we start today, I'd start him in center field, and he'd lead off. He can really help us on the base paths. He puts a lot of pressure on pitchers, gets great jumps, and has good instincts in the outfield. There's a lot of things that go into playing for us. You have to do things on the field and off the field, and so he needs to continue to do all the things that are expected. But if he will continue to do the right things, he could have a major impact on our season. So you put Turchin in left, Taylor in center, Yalowitz in right. As I told somebody today on the phone, any of those three guys could play center field. And I'm not sure there's many outfielders in the country that can say you have three guys that could go into center field and be successful.
With Dan Hartleb here, head coach of Illinois baseball. They open up a week from tomorrow at 6 o'clock, and we'll be having the vast majority of games over the air here on News Talk 1400 and all as well at FightingIllini.com.
Big Ten tournament, 8 teams make it.
Correct.
Do you ever wish that there'd be all 13 league schools in it? Has there ever been any talk of doing something like that?
That's what softball does.
Yeah, we have talked about that. The positive to having everybody in is some of those teams that have played well but just slipped below that cutoff line could be eligible for the NCAA tournament. We've had that a couple times. There was one year where if we would have made the tournament, I thought we had a chance at the NCAA tournament. It happened to Michigan State. So if we had all the teams in, I think that would be a positive. Just getting a format that would work is so difficult. The thing I don't like about softball, it's 1 and out. Yeah. I think that's very difficult. There are years when you have a team that may be the 8th place team but has the best pitcher in the league. And so, if you're the number 1 school facing them, that's difficult. You can get knocked out right away. So I like double elimination. But to answer the question, we have talked about expanding. We actually tried to get to at least 10 schools, and that was voted down, not by the coaches, but through the process. So I think it's something we'll continue to try to do. Big Ten baseball has improved so much over the last 10 years that the more teams we have in our tournament, the more teams I think will qualify for the NCAA tournament.
The non-conference schedule seems like it's pretty strong. I mean, it's a step up, at least from the last year. You had in the opening weekend, you see Missouri State. They were a super regional team last year out of Missouri Valley. Coastal Carolina, they're 2 seasons away from winning it all. 3 Pac-12 teams up in Minneapolis you get to see. What do you like about does this schedule, does it excite you or make you nervous?
Well, I'll give you the coaching answer. We need to worry about Lamar.
yeah, that's Friday. That's the first one.
Correct. And Lamar's going to be good. They've got a good ball club as well. So it's a very tough schedule, and we're going to find out where we're at in a lot of areas early.
That's the way you wanted it?
Absolutely. I mean, the only way that you're going to get in the NCAA tournament is to have a good RPI, and you need to go out and play good people. To me, you're better off playing good people and maybe coming out on the short end than you are playing somebody that's not very good, and you end up blowing them out. I mean, that's not realistic what's going to happen in tournament play. And so I like to play a good schedule. I like to challenge our guys, and when you have tough players, they find a way to rise to the occasion.
It's going to be pretty cool to go play in the building that hosted the Super Bowl in a few weeks. The U.S. Bank Stadium up in Minneapolis will be converted into a baseball field, and I don't know, does Minnesota actually host that event? It's the Big Ten Pac-12 Challenge.
They do host that. They've had a Dairy Queen Classic for a number of years. They used to hold in the old dome, and now that they have this new stadium, I know they did it last year. I'm not sure if it's been the last. Well, last year would have been the first year for it. So we're going to be obviously the second round.
So did you watch the Super Bowl any differently than you might have normally?
Oh, there's left field.
No. No.
Will it be as well attended as the Super Bowl?
I don't know. It depends how we're playing at the time, I guess.
Look, that'll be pretty cool. Anything you can speak to on the pitching? You mentioned you think you've identified the top 3, but
sure.
Maybe they don't know that they're the top 3 yet.
They do.
Oh, okay.
I spent today was our off day, so I wanted to spend Tuesday and Wednesday kind of telling the guys at least where they were on that specific day, what my thoughts were leading up to the week, what roles were, so they'd have time to think through some things, and if they have more questions or we need to talk them through it a little bit, we had a few days to do that. So Ty Weber's going to start game 1, and Andy Fisher, which was a guy that transferred in and had to sit last year. He's a left-hander. He's going to start game 2, and then Cirillo Watson will start game 3. As we talked to those guys and told them what their roles will be this weekend, I also told them it was very interchangeable. Don't know which guy's number 1 yet. We're doing some matchup type things this weekend that we think will be good. I think they're all 3 capable of stuffing that number 1 slot, but I just want to see who the most consistent is, and things will sort themselves out over the next few weeks.
Back end of the bullpen?
Back end of the bullpen, the back end is going to be Joey Gerber, and he's really improved. Last year he threw with great velocity, but was all over the zone. He's got much better command this year. He's developed a good cutter slider that will get guys off his fastball a little bit. And he's been consistently 93 and touching 96, so you got a really good arm on the back end. One of the guys that's performed extremely well and made it very difficult on some decisions was a transfer by the name of Quinn Snarskas. He's been as good as I've seen in a long time as far as command. And the reason we moved him in the bullpen is we know exactly what we're going to get out of him as far as a strike thrower. And so we wanted to have somebody this first weekend out of the pen that when we go out, stick him out there with his experience, he'd have a little bit of a calm to him.
Sounds like this season, you're on the brink of a season. You never know what's coming, but I can tell that you think this could be a very successful season.
I do. I believe in this club. But the thing is, as I said before, they need to believe in themselves. We've got to play with a mental toughness. I think the thing that you always have to overcome is the fact that, a year ago this team didn't win. And, there's expectations in my mind, and young people don't always handle expectations very well. So I need to do a good job with this group to make sure we stay, focused. If you have a bad day or a bad weekend, you don't let it affect you long term. I do think we're very capable of winning. I'm excited to go play. There's a point when you just need to go play because you need to find some things out. And I think there's a point where players listen to you, but they stop listening to you. And until they go out and either fail or something happens that you told them was going to happen, until they actually see that, it's kind of like your own kids. They don't fully listen and understand until something goes wrong.
And you get to go outside.
I hope so.
Dan, really good to see you. We always appreciate your time.
Thanks,
I
Dan.
appreciate being here. Looking forward to seeing everybody out at the ballpark and be able to talk to you on the radio after our win on Friday.
All right, that'll be a week from Friday, 6 pitch, Illinois and Lamar as they start on the 2018 season. Dan Hartleb from Illinois Baseball, and Matt and I are back. We wrap it up in a moment.